More close to live on Periscope and YouTube. So what's going on, everybody? Tuesday, December 17th. NBA Strategy Show presented by Yahoo Sports. We finally get Adam Scher back from his exile to Puerto Rico for a couple days. He was able to avoid the fun end to last night's Live Before Lock. Had to tap out to that one. Adam, how was Puerto Rico?
It was fun. Pretty cool. I'd never been, so weather was great. Had a good time. It was nice to. It was kind of nice to not be allowed to play fantasy sports other than stuff that I was able to register before I left Maryland. So it was a forced vacation.
That was good. I'm a little jealous. Would have liked to be there. Seems like it would have been nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
What was not relaxing was last night's slate and watching your stinky Wizards try to do something reasonable on a basketball court. Way too much Admiral Schofield trying to be anything other than what he is. It wasn't great. Just wasn't fun to watch. A lot of Jan Mahinmi. Not good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Schofield did, but I'm assuming he played well.
No.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what he did he had 13.5 fantasy points.
Oh, okay.
And he looked like a player that would put up 13.5 fantasy points when no one else is available. Nobody looked good except for Beal.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah, nobody looked good except for Beal. I watched the entire second half. Should come as no surprise that I wasn't very enthusiastic about the Wizards. I mean, they won the damn game and all, but it was not an enjoyable experience at all. I've got the exposures up for last night's $8 excellent eights on DraftKings. The highest owned player, Markieff Morris, 61%. Christian Wood, 57%. Alex Baker, 192.7 on those guys. So that would have been a very similar look for me. Third most owned was Luke Kennard, which, not that I'm surprised by it, just wouldn't have assumed it got all the way there. Alex had 72%. Did not get enough of Derrick Rose's big 43-point performance. But no real complaints. Boss man finished positive. And let's be clear here, he had quite the weekend, so sure he's happy with even just a little green.
Hell of a weekend for him.
No, I'm sure he had no complaints whatsoever.
It was perfect for me too, because if he had done any better, I would have had to participate in something at least. If he had come,
you'd been taking pictures with a big check,
right? Yeah. So he finished just outside of that, which was perfect for me.
I loved the picture that you sent with the two name tags. It's funny. I still have this one sitting on my desk from last year's football final. It's magnetic, so it just sticks to my monitor pole. So it's kind of just been there from the day I got back and unpacked my suitcase. Let's take a look at the winning lineup for last night. Wezzy had 3 lineups, came away with $100,000. Lucky that person. Bruce Brown, 39. Jalen Brunson, 37.5. Norm Powell, who wins the award for going absolutely crazy, 53. Giannis got to 76. Porzingis sans Luka, 53.5. Isaiah Thomas went for 37 at very minimal ownership. Frank Kaminsky went for 33. That was probably the last time anybody's going to be playing Frank Kaminsky now that Ayton is back. And then Melo went for 46 at 3.3% ownership. Not a lot of 150 maxers near the top, or at least not the familiar names that you're used to. A couple guys sneaking in. Expected ownership for lineups all over the place. The 6th place lineup only had 98% aggregate. The 3rd place lineup had 245. You were able to get there in many different ways thanks to the just absolutely ridiculous lack of, or absolute ridiculous amount of value that showed up in that final hour. You get Drummond out, you get Blake out, and all of a sudden it's just an infinite amount of Markieff Morris and Christian Wood. Boy, alrighty, let's dive into this. I actually just want to talk about a different slate and not ever talk about this particular slate again. And Troy Brown, you were on my shit list. But you know who's not on my shit list?
Who's that?
Yahoo Sports. They are the presenting sponsor of this show. They are the only place where you can become a baller. What I would recommend you guys do, check out the link that I'm dropping into chat right now. This is Emacs Cash Building Blocks article. Read the article. It's yesterday's, but it's always fun to go back and read the takes from previous days. Head to the bottom, click the link to sign up at Yahoo. You could use the promo code AWESEMO, get up to $30 in YSRPs. That's Yahoo Sports Rewards points. 10 max entries, lower management fees, softer competition. It's just going to be a fantastic place to play for you. So, recommend you check it out. Use that promo code AWESEMO. And if you want to sign up with us, NBA Strategy is the promo code. One big word. Go to awesemo.com/join. You can get 50% off your first week with us. Proud of myself for not messing up the read day 2 of the new promotion. So yes, NBA Strategy is the promo code, 50% off your first week. And in case anybody is curious, judging by my dejection in my voice, my 150 lineup train last night did not cash. Anyway, let's get into it. 6-gamer, right? Yeah, 6-gamer. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on for this one, so it's going to take some time. I'm ready if you are.
Yeah, it'll be kind of catching up for me because I have no idea what's happened in the last 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days?
Yeah.
No. Much
like
longer
news-wise.
stretch.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't really have the energy for good jokes right now, man. I don't have the energy. They're going to be worse than they normally are, I'm sure, which is difficult. Charlotte Hornets, Sacramento Kings. Kings 4.5-point favorites in Charlotte. Welcome back, De'Aaron Fox. Possibly. Damn, Josh, you didn't cash at all? Sheesh. Yeah, you either cash or you don't when you run 150 of the same lineup. There is no at all.
You didn't have 20% just kind of pop out?
No, didn't work. Let's start on the Charlotte side. Only guy getting ownership is Terry Rozier. 13% on FanDuel, 24 on DK, where he's 6,200. We've got a little bit of news here. So PJ Washington is out with a broken finger. Batum is still doubtful. Marvin Williams expected to be back. I believe he is officially probable. Malik Monk stands out a little bit to me, 3,800. 3,400 on DraftKings. I understand the Terry Rozier love on DK, 6,200, just a little bit too cheap for him. I don't really have much interest in anything else from Charlotte. This mostly looks like filler at best. How do you feel about the Hornets?
I think that Marvin Williams is an okay value at 3,400. I assume he plays, mid-20s without Washington. And I think Washington being out helps to solidify, or at least potentially helps to solidify Zeller and Biyombo minutes too. I think that because we had seen games where they were losing minutes to either Williams or Washington at the 5, but with Washington being out, that's more minutes at the 4 for Williams. I think it's more likely that you get about 48 minutes from Zeller plus Biyombo. Neither one particularly cheap, but I think that it's a little bit better spot for them since Washington's out.
I got to point this out right now. I know it doesn't matter. Their most recent game was Sunday. Any guesses as to the amount of minutes they played combined, Zeller and Biyombo?
I'm going to guess the answer is not 0.
Correct. Biyombo played 27.7. Zeller played 29.3. I did not know that. And I have not confirmed this. I'm just assuming that this is correct and that Basketball Reference didn't have it wrong when I pulled the data. But I can't imagine what that looked like.
Oh, they were playing the Pacers. I guess that makes sense.
That's it.
In that big, not makes sense, but like they could do it.
Sure. Yeah. Zeller started. He played power forward per Tim D in YouTube chat. 57 total minutes between the two. I saw it and I was just like, shit, I got bad data.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Of all the combos, that's not one of them I would have put together. Speaking of people that played together, since we don't have them on the slate today, Derek White and DeJounte Murray actually on the floor at the same time last night for the first time this season.
Wow.
Something to point out. Anyway. I don't have any issue with Marvin Williams. 3,700 on FanDuel, 3,400 on DK. I gave him 24 minutes. Gave a lot of these dudes 24 minutes. Not entirely sure what they're going to be doing. I certainly didn't give Zeller and Biyombo more than 48. That much I can tell you. Thoughts on Malik Monk as a punt play? We'll talk about FanDuel specifically, I think, at 3,800. But if you like it on DK, that's fine too.
I never really know what to say about him because more often than not, you're going to get like 18 minutes. Obviously, he can get hot and he's cheap, but there's nothing that makes me like more interested in him than I normally am, I don't think.
Okay, that's fine. I gave him 24. Do you think that's outlandish?
I wouldn't say outlandish. I don't know that he has to get 24 though.
Yeah, it's probably more likely that he gets 20 and Dwayne Bacon just takes a full rotation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly possible that you just get more of like small backcourt and then slide Bridges to the 4 or something. But the Kings also, it's not like they have a really small team.
Right. Yeah, they've already got players playing in the wrong positions the wrong way. So, is there anything else you want to touch on for Charlotte? Like, I don't see Graham as someone that I'm all that interested in. Do you think the chalk for Rozier at 6,200 is reasonable?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a really cheap price tag for a guy that's going to play 35, 36 minutes. Bad Sacramento defense. Slow Sacramento team's the only real negative.
Maybe the pace of that Sacramento team is going to go up. De'Aaron Fox expected to be back here. I would imagine a minutes limit. We have no word on him. I gave him 24 minutes. I feel like, 4 6-minute rotation seems pretty reasonable. We don't know that right now, and we should get that information by the time we get closer to lock. I'm certainly not playing him. He's 7K on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings. I don't really see the need to jam that in on his first game back.
Shout out to the sites for not making him 3K.
Yep. Yeah, great work doing your job in advance. I don't think there's a Sacramento King that I am interested in today. Am I crazy? There's everybody just seems to be slightly overpriced.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree, especially with Fox coming back. That makes the minutes tough. Obviously, it's taking mostly away from Joseph, but could potentially have a trickle down effect. Charlotte's bad defensively, so that's the one part that would be tough. But there's nobody that looks really great in terms of salary. I guess if you could take a shot on Bagley, who played 22 minutes last game. You would expect that those minutes eventually start to ramp up, but I don't think there's anyone that looks great to me either.
Yeah, I have him in for 22 right now as the full backup for Rashawn Holmes. I don't know what they're going to do there. I don't know whose minutes they're going to cut. This is a team that desperately sort of needs a trade or to just stop playing Trevor Ariza.
Right.
That would also probably work pretty well. They just have too many dudes that are 4s or 5s. And
in Bagley's first game, Bagley's first game back, when we were kind of just guessing how the rotation was going to look, I just cut almost all of Ariza's minutes just out of wishful thinking, but didn't happen.
No. And the problem is Rashawn Holmes has been fantastic this year, not just in a DFS perspective. He's been a real legitimate quality option for the Kings, so it's hard to just.
I'll say he really hasn't been that good from a DFS perspective.
Right? Yeah, lesser than normal, but his defense has been wildly improved. So he's not someone that you can just easily rip off the court. Even though that's exactly what they should be doing in theory, because Marvin Bagley is absolutely a 5. That's neither here nor there. We got a question in Premium Slack, no love for Buddy Hield. It's projected for 7% ownership on FanDuel and 10 on DraftKings. I don't have any love for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say love. I would say that it's Buddy Hield. He probably plays 33, 34 minutes. He'll shoot a lot. It's a good matchup. But it's not I don't think he's drastically underpriced or anything.
Why? The most important thing I think for Marvin Bagley's minutes will be Sacramento's chances of making the playoffs. Because I don't think that they're going to go out of their way to get him more minutes in lieu of taking Bielitsa or something off the floor. And the Ariza dynamic is kind of weird. But the Kings have a 26% chance of making the playoffs right now. When that maintains, they're not just going to try to work Bagley in more. They're going to try to win games first. And Bielitsa is a better way to win games right now than Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, and I think that as far as trying to project his minutes, for now, it is important what you mentioned, that he's backing up Holmes, because while he should be a 5, I expected them to use him at the 4. Yeah. And so far they're not. So that just naturally caps his playing time.
Exactly. They would. Trevor Ariza is the bottleneck here. Trevor Ariza has played an average of 28 minutes over his last 7 games, 3 of which have Marvin Bagley back. Those are the minutes that need to go away if this team wants to try to get him any additional minutes.
Right.
Anybody else they cut from is probably going to make the team. All in all, just not that appealing of a fantasy game.
It feels like one of those games where Charlotte's had a lot of games like this where it's like no individual player really stands out, and then at like 7:45, you're just like, I barely have this game that has 8 players going absolutely nuts.
Sure. I'm really anxious to see what the impact is for Sacramento's pace with Fox back.
They should play faster.
Yeah.
Like they were, if I remember correctly, they were fast last year.
Very.
So yeah, it was really surprising how slow they had been, because they weren't playing that fast even when Fox was in this year. But I don't think they were playing like slowest pace in the league.
They are the second slowest team in my pace metric right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they went from like middle of the pack, slightly below average, to like dead last.
I'm pulling it up now. So on Basketball Reference, Sacramento last season was 5th in pace. And this season, same qualification, Basketball Reference, just so we're 1-1, they are dead last. That has to essentially just be De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I'm trying to see pace numbers with him on and off, using Buddy Hield as a proxy, since that makes sense. Looks like, where'd he go? 100 with Fox on, 97 with Fox off.
There you go. Which is a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing, I don't know. Let's just keep it moving. Pacers and Lakers. Pacers 103 implied total. Lakers 107.5. So 4.5 point favorites in Indiana. Anthony Davis questionable. Kyle Kuzma out. I believe everything is normal for the Pacers. As of right now, I think I like Indiana quite a bit. Sabonis 8K on both sites. 23% owned on FanDuel. That stands out to me as a spot that I would like to get to. I'm going to constantly have my eye on Miles Turner, hoping he can be a different person. But so far this season, he has not been. Malcolm Brogdon is at 22% ownership on both sites. That's probably the piece I like the least, given the ownership. Jeremy Lamb is 5,300. TJ Warren is 4,800 on FanDuel. I'm interested in both of those guys. Hell, I'm even interested a little bit in Justin Holiday for 3,700. What do you want to do with the Pacers in an admittedly tough spot?
Yeah, tough spot. Pretty unappealing game in terms of pace and facing a really good Lakers defense. If Davis were to sit, that defense is nowhere near as good, but I'm assuming he plays. But yeah, I think that the pricing is pretty reasonable. You know, Brogdon on DraftKings at 7,400. I assume plays 32, 33 minutes. He's been very productive this year. Sabonis hasn't taken a hit in terms of production, even with the team fully healthy. Minutes have been there, you know, outside of blowouts. One thing, looking at their rotation against Charlotte last game that wasn't great, is that Goga did play like 4 first half minutes, but then he didn't play in the second half. Sabonis is just more productive when he's the backup center, but I assume that he'll continue to be the backup center, at least for most of the minutes that Turner's not on the floor. So that's good. You mentioned 4,800 for Warren on FanDuel, 5K on DraftKings, Lamb's 4,900. Those are both perfectly fine price tags. They're not the type of guys that you're looking to that you're really looking to in cash games, because they're just not, you know, consistent producers. But they're both examples of guys where if you look at their average usage rate, it's not going to be that high because they're playing alongside Brogdon and Sabonis. But within any one game, they have the ability to be a high usage guy. It's not like they're someone that just isn't involved in the offense ever.
Right. Yeah, they're finally at a price now where those Flyers look good, even though they have been playing worse, so to speak.
Right.
I don't really know what to do with their minutes. That's sort of the weird thing. They've kind of been like flattening out and getting a little bit more to Holiday, McDermott, Holiday, and McConnell.
I usually go like 32 on Warren and Lamb.
Yeah, I just dropped Warren from 32 to 30 just in case.
Yeah. I mean, he played 26 and 3 quarters against Charlotte.
Okay. Yeah,
his last, if you take his second quarter minutes and put them in the fourth quarter, he would have played like 32, 33.
Seems like the 34 to 36 minute days are over, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the bench, they're definitely giving significant enough run to the bench. Like that's the same problem I've been having with Brogdon too, is, early in the season, you were getting those 36, 37-minute games. Those are a lot less frequent now that you have a healthy TJ McConnell, you have Aaron Holiday that is also in the rotation.
Who would be your favorite pacer today?
I think Brogdon on DraftKings.
Ooh, okay.
It's close for me between him and Sabonis.
Okay. Lakers side. As of right now, I'm assuming Anthony Davis is in. I don't really know what else to do there. I would say that I prefer AD to LeBron on FanDuel. He's $300 cheaper. On DraftKings, he's $400 cheaper. You can call it a coin flip for both guys as far as I'm concerned. I have some interest in Rondo at $5K on FanDuel, a little bit less so for $4,700 on DK. And then there's just a very large lack of value right now out there. So like even someone like JaVale McGee in 17 minutes looks like a really like viable point per dollar guy, but not somebody I want to play because he plays 17 minutes a game. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
with the Lakers?
same goes with Dwight Howard, who's $100 more on DraftKings.
Right. And is there anything here for you outside of AD and LeBron?
No, there never really is.
Same page.
Like, I'm with you that if Rondo's going to play 26 minutes, he's reasonable. I'm not completely sold that he's playing 26 minutes, but that's what he played last game.
Any interest in Avery Bradley at the flat minimum on DraftKings?
He's still on. He played 24 minutes last game. Is he? Have they said if he's on any sort of limit?
I gave him 22, but I mean, if you knew that he was getting 24, that's got to be at least sort of in play, right?
Yeah. So his minutes limit last game was up to 25. He played 24. Yeah.
Don't forget, he's also Avery Bradley. He stinks.
Right, but it's just so hard to go wrong with a 3K player too.
Agreed. Yeah, if I'm going to take that stand, that's an easy one to do.
Right. He's not the kind of 3K player where he's like the first guy into your lineup. He's the type of 3K player where when you like if you were hand building a lineup where you kind of get done and then you look at your worst value guy and say, how much better is or how much higher is my ceiling if I just cut him to the flat minimum and bump up someone?
Yeah, like, okay, I have Jeremy Lamb here. Would I be better off taking that 1,900 and putting it elsewhere?
Right. And the answer in a lot of cases is going to be no, but
that's it. Very uneventful first two games. Not great from a fantasy perspective. Now, a little bit different in this one. New York Knicks, Atlanta Hawks. The battle of I don't even know what.
There's not much worse of a feeling than being live on air, having not looked at basketball in 3 to 4 days and kind of playing catch up as we go along, and then seeing the Hawks are playing the Knicks.
Yeah, well, get ready because the ownership here is out of control. We'll start on the Knicks side. On FanDuel, we have 4 guys at 20% ownership. Randall, Marcus Morris, RJ Barrett, Elfrid Payton, Mitchell Robinson getting some love as well. I love Marcus Morris, one of my favorite plays of the day on FanDuel. RJ Barrett as well. But it gets even more ridiculous. Those 4 guys are also in double digits on DK, with $4,500 RJ Barrett projected for 47% ownership. He is also, without question, my top play on DraftKings today, given that price tag.
4,500 is an absolute joke.
Yep, it is. He's the number one guy with a bullet today. And it's really gross. This is a pace-up spot for the Knicks. Obviously, the Hawks' defense is terrible. I'm going to have a lot of the Knicks guys. That should go well.
Yeah, it went really well last time I did it, and I'm going to do it
again. It seems like they're focusing on a little bit of a core of Randall, Morris, Robinson, Barrett, and Payton, which means today's the day that Ntilikina, Damian Dotson, Knox, Brezdeikis, and insert 5th guy that I don't know will be the guys that start or something.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood, since Fizdale left, the rotation has looked more like a competent professional basketball team. Competent as in, like, has professional basketball players on it.
I knocked. I don't trust it.
No, me neither.
You, Josh, tomorrow upset about Chalk Barrett that shits the bed. Fade. Yeah, go ahead. You can fade it. That's fine. I'll have a lot. Adam will have a lot. Alex will have a lot. This will be really easy.
Yeah.
I'll die on $4,500 value plays all day.
Yep.
Yeah. What do we want to do with the rest of these guys? Morris for 6,200 on FanDuel is just way too cheap. Same price on DK. Is there anybody you don't like in the main five?
The main five being Robinson.
Yes.
Don't like, no.
Okay. Least
Wait,
favorite
who's
would
the
be Peyton for 5,200 for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's the fifth because Peyton would be my least favorite.
5,500 on FanDuel, so I think it's a little bit more appealing. I'm gonna have a lot of these dudes.
Yeah, I would say that for me it's Barrett, Randall, Morris, Robinson, Peyton, in that order.
Dominique Brown. How do you listen to a guy that couldn't cash on 150 lineups? Josh, can I get a heads up? It's the same damn lineup 150 times, moron. I didn't go 0 for 100. Oh, yes, you can get a heads up. I'm confident that I'll win that going away over the long term. Yeah. Anything you want, brother. Anything you want. Oh, God. Stupidity levels are staggering sometimes. Can you imagine going 0 for 150?
I've come very close before.
Yeah, but like the whole way.
Yeah. Like I think I had a slate earlier this year where I cashed like 6.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did, but whatever it was really bad.
I don't even regret running the train. It's just higher risk. Like, it's not like I ran a random lineup. I chose it manually on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you ran a train on purpose. That would be stupid.
Josh is the mush this year. I think that's supposed to mean that I'm bad.
It more so that just things you're on go poorly.
Oh, yeah. No, they don't. They actually go really well for this entire NBA season. But appreciate you doing a terrible job of paying attention for the past month and a half. Now we got to look at Atlanta. Trae Young, 10K on FanDuel, 9,900 on DK, picking up quite a bit of ownership. Jabari Parker, 6K on FanDuel, 5,900 on DraftKings, decent amount of ownership. DeAndre Hunter getting some love at 4,500. I'm not as enamored with Atlanta, but gonna be getting to Parker for sure, and I have no issue paying up for Trae Young in a spot that fits him pretty well. I assume he will really enjoy playing at MSG.
Yeah, I'm with you on. I think Young's a good play. I think Parker's fine. Kevin Huerter's still at like 24, 25 minutes. He's still playing backup point, which is good. I think he's reasonable at 4,200 on DraftKings.
I have him in for 25 minutes. He's not my favorite in this game. Do you think the potential for additional minutes is there?
Hang on, he's questionable with that same shoulder injury too.
There you go.
Which is why he left last game. Okay.
This feels like a game where I should have more Atlanta. But I'm not sure where that comes from. Like, you have interest in Len or Damian Jones?
Hang on. So to finish the Herder thought, if he does play, yes, you can project him for more minutes because he's on a 30-minute limit. Or at least he was last game. And he got hurt and left early. So if he plays, I like Herder, but I think there's a pretty good chance he doesn't play. As far as Jones and Len, nah. I mean, you're going to get like probably around 22 minutes from both of them.
Yeah, I gave them both 20. Gave Bruno Fernando something. Favorite play from Atlanta?
Trae.
Jabari's minutes slightly trending down is not fun.
Yeah, he's been averaging like 29, I think.
Yeah.
Over the last like month, as of last time I looked, which would have been like Wednesday.
I have him in for 28, which pops on FanDuel at 6K. Pops a little bit less so on DraftKings. I think Jabari is my favorite play on FanDuel from the Hawks.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Well, nothing can go wrong if you have this many Knicks. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. Parker's averaged 29 minutes per game since John Collins' injury.
He's back soon too, right?
Or not injury, suspension.
2 more games?
Sounds right.
Something in
I
that
know
neighborhood.
I remember he was gonna be back around Christmas.
Everybody's yelling at me because I have a hat today. Hair's still there. Looks pretty comparable to yesterday.
Wait, what?
I didn't wear my hat yesterday on the deeper dive, and it turned into a roast for about 45 minutes on the deeper dive. Then it became a tweet, at which point the roast then continued. And then it just like really spiraled out of control through Live Before Lock. So it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Then my wife started liking some of the tweets that were coming in. She wanted to participate a little bit. I had to tell her, like, you probably don't want this. It's not going to go well for you. Incredible. All right. 3 games down. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up later today. NBA ownership is free today. If you want to go check that out, head to awesemo.com right now. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. Coming up after this, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Sal Vetri is joined by not Dave Lochran, but one Ben Rasa filling in for Laffy here. We'll be talking some Week 16 in the NFL. Jake will be up at 4 p.m. with his NHL stream. Alex will have his game plan stream back behind the paywall today. He is back and officially done traveling after his successful weekend in NFL. Laffy and Adam will be on the deep dive, and then you'll get Fast Eddie Fear and Chris Randone for Live Before Lock tonight. We also have an NHL giveaway going on. If you head to our Twitter account, awesemo_com, we have the pinned tweet. You can check that out and get a little bit of details on that. I don't really know what it is, but I'm pulling it up right now. I can put it on the screen for everybody else. You have a chance to win something. The terrible plug for our giveaway, but it'll be on the screen soon enough. There it is. Awesemo_com Twitter account. NHL giveaway. Gets the player with the most fantasy points on tonight's 11-game NHL slate. You'll win, and you could win an NHL pass. You just have to guess, or reply to this tweet, like, and retweet. You've got to be following the Awesemo_com account, and the Awesemo NHL account. My brain is mush today. It's awful. Awful. 3 more games. This one's fun. New Orleans Pelicans, Brooklyn Nets. Nets 2-point favorites in New Orleans. For the Pels, JJ Redick is out. Derek Favors finally back. And then on the Brooklyn side, we do have Wilson Chandler back from his PED suspension. Still no Kyrie Irving. Still no Karis LeVert. Let's start on the New Orleans side. I've got a couple really crazy things to talk about, I guess, for this one. 6 guys for the Pelicans are in double digits in ownership. No one less than 19%. We've got Drew Holiday at 30, Brandon Ingram at 24, Jackson Hayes at 19. He should be the highest one, by the way, 3,800. 34% ownership going to Derek Favors, 21 to Lonzo Ball, 22 to Josh Hart. What stands out most to you from all of those guys? Because I wasn't expecting this much ownership for the Pelicans.
I think it makes sense. Like Redick plays so many minutes, so it just opens up a lot, and then it's a good matchup against Brooklyn. It's a fast paced game. Not that Brooklyn's terrible defense, but fast paced game on a slate that doesn't have very many of them. I think that it makes sense for a lot of ownership to be going to the Bills.
Oh yeah, I'm not all surprised about it. I'm surprised at the volume of it. Like 34% Derek Favors. I get it. He's 4,600. How many minutes is Derek Favors really playing today?
Yeah, I mean 22 to 24.
I gave him 22, and that's like, would you rather have Derek Favors or Jackson Hayes?
So if I go like 22 and 26, then I have it being really close. Yeah, like almost identical in terms of salary.
Yeah, I have 22 and 26, Favors and Hayes. I have them separated by 1/10 of a point. The fact that Favors is essentially twice his ownership, I don't understand why it's not the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I have Favors like 3 points ahead.
Okay. 22% Josh Hart, I guess makes some sense, but it's not like he's some per minute monster. I've got him in for 30 minutes. I'm not sure that I like him more for 5K on FanDuel.
I think he probably plays more than 30 minutes.
Not out of the realm of possibility, obviously.
Like he played 30 last game with Redick playing 36.
Doesn't seem to really break that 30 barrier all that often, though. Kind of like a wall for him. So I gave him 30. I gave Drew 36. Brandon Ingram 34. I assume we see some Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Frank Jackson.
Yeah, most likely.
I gave them a 10-man rotation with Walker, Melly, and Jackson as like the 3 additional guys that get some run. I love these guys on FanDuel. Jackson Hayes, even at 5,100, I think is still very viable, but the $3,800 price tag is just craziness. Josh Hart is my second favorite guy on FanDuel.
I love Lonzo here too.
Really?
Only 5K on DraftKings.
2,600 or 26 minutes? More or less?
More than that. More. Okay. He should be in the closing lineup. Right? It should be. So last game they closed with Drew, Redick, Ingram, Hayes, Hart. I think there's a good chance Redick gets replaced with Lonzo.
That's the tricky part, I guess. I don't disagree with you. I'm probably light on Lonzo's minutes now that you mention it.
Like Lonzo, Drew, Hart, Ingram, center, probably Hayes to close. Yeah. Seems like it would make sense.
I mean, it should be Favors, but I just don't know where they're at.
Right. Like, yeah. The
Jackson Hayes will not be the closing center for this team if they're actually trying to win games.
Yeah, but that part's irrelevant. Like Ball, the closing 1 through 3 should be Ball, Drew, and Hart.
Yeah. All right, so I bumped Lonzo to 30. I'm fully with you now at liking Lonzo. He would be my number 2 DK guy. I didn't really think about it from those. Like, he's just sort of been non-existent, but I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, even last game he played 27 minutes, didn't close, and Redick was there.
Yeah.
What Lonzo does is obviously a completely different conversation.
I mean, more than Josh Hart, probably, but we shall see. All right, let's rank these Pelicans, guys, since we've got some time.
Okay.
And this is obviously the DK perspective.
Yeah. So I would say I'm just trying to make sure the minutes look reasonable. Okay, so Ingram, Drew, Lonzo, Hart, Hayes, Favors.
Okay.
Kenrich.
For me on FanDuel, it's going to be Hayes, Hart, Ball, Holiday, Ingram, Favors. Well, actually, Williams, Favors. Derek Favors is 6,300 on FanDuel. Don't play him. Even though he's 13% owned for some strange reason. Play him if we find out that he's going to play more than 22 minutes. I know this isn't normally your cup of tea, but who do you think's actually on the Pelicans in a month? Like, they stink. They have not a lot going for them. We haven't seen Zion. Is Derek Favors playing somewhere else, so they played Jackson Hayes more?
That would make a lot of sense.
Is Drew Holiday on a different team?
I mean, I don't know like Drew's contract status either. Like he obviously
perfect.
Like I think the Pelicans compete sooner rather than later. Right. So I don't think there's like a huge impetus for them to just be dumping very, very good players on if they're locked in for multiple years.
Yeah, Drew is in on like a pretty decent contract. Zach Lowe and Woj did a show last night or 2 nights ago, one of the two. About the trade deadline. Lowe pitched a Drew Holiday to the Nuggets for Gary Harris, a young guy and a pick type thing, which kind of interesting. But I'm not so sure Gary Harris really helps the Pelicans, but I'm a big fan of Gary Harris. Doesn't do the things that like people make people fans of him.
Right. Yeah, he's one of those guys where like someone like me who is entirely DFS biased, and that's how I view basketball through a DFS lens. Gary Harris is like just a guy, but I know that from a basketball perspective, he's actually good.
Yeah. I would love to see Drew get somewhere else this year. Like, do they trade JJ Redick? You would think.
Yeah, I would think Reddick and Favors are the two that would again, without knowing contracts or really markets or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just from a who has some value, most likely that the Pels would probably want to give up because they probably aren't really necessary to their next window of contention. I would like Reddick and Favors.
Love it. It's like my favorite month of the year, the prep to the trade deadline for the NBA.
Yeah, I hate it because then you just have to redo all the rotations.
Very true. Eddie and I went live for the trade deadline last year. It was fun.
Yeah.
What else we got here? All right, let's go to Brooklyn. Lots of ownership coming to these guys as well. 6 guys in double digits on FanDuel, 5 on DraftKings, where DeAndre Jordan is staggeringly expensive. So there's that. Spencer Dinwiddie, 8,300 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DK. He's almost 40% owned on both sites. I don't really disagree. I don't mind DeAndre Jordan for 5,100 on FanDuel. I'm surprised by that. I don't mind Jared Allen for 6,500 on FanDuel. He's also at 26% ownership. Garrett Temple is at 30 at 5K, which is incredibly uncomfortable. This is ugly. What do you want to do with the Nets? I don't like a lot of these dudes, but unfortunately, I like a lot of these dudes.
Yeah, I like the pricing. Dinwiddie's salary, 7,500 on DraftKings. Before I left for Puerto Rico, I think he was like 8,400. So that seems like a pretty significant price drop in a really appealing matchup against the Pels. So he stands out as one of the better plays on the slate for me. Jared Allen, the minutes obviously are up and down. Don't be too concerned by his last game. That was a blowout. I think that normally you're going to get 26, 27, but he obviously has the upside for more. And he's very, very capable of being very good on a per minute basis. So I think he's a good option at 6,500 or 6,400. Prince is fine. Temple's fine. Temple, I mean, he's playing a lot of minutes. Whenever someone like Temple gets to be really popular, I start looking for pivots.
Yeah.
But I think that on a point per dollar basis, it's a pretty good play.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of the Nets here. Pelicans defense not very good. Pace it's gonna be a really fast game. They have the second highest implied total of the slate. So if I'm ranking Nets on FanDuel, DeAndre Jordan's gonna be the trickiest piece of this. Let me look at his minutes. He's the type of guy that I really don't like. Like he pops as my best value, but that's kind of muted in that I don't expect him to have any sort of mechanism to get minutes outside of foul trouble.
Right. That's what I was going to say. The problem with someone like Jordan is he's on the, obviously he's in a 48-minute split with Allen, but he's on the wrong end of it as far as the Nets have every incentive to give more minutes to Jared Allen.
Exactly. And it's almost as if DeAndre Jordan doesn't have the same sort of right tail as everybody else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think that I just have to take minutes away from DeAndre Jordan so he doesn't show up like that, and he can be a reasonable value instead.
How many minutes do you have in that?
22.
Okay, yeah. So I normally go 27, 21 between Allen and Jordan.
So I just pulled him down to 20, which will keep him in play a little bit. But I don't 31% Garrett Temple on FanDuel, really? I understand this is a 6-game slate, and Garrett Temple is essentially the cheapest shooting guard you can get to from value. Would you rather have Josh Hart or Garrett Temple? Same price on FanDuel.
Josh Hart.
Okay. They're comparable in ownership. I have them as comparable plays. I think that's just a testament to what shooting guard looks like today. But then again, I think RJ Barrett is the best shooting guard, and he's 5th in ownership. So
I answered that really quickly. I actually have them projected the same. Okay. I just
You just wanted it to be Josh Hart.
Mentally hate Garrett Temple.
Mentally you love Garrett Temple per everything that I know. Garrett Temple's the only guy that I know that you ever had a dream about. So maybe you should pump the brakes a little bit on your Garrett Temple not love. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just happened. Anyway, FanDuel ranks for me: Jared Allen, Garrett Temple. As of right now, Garrett Temple, Joe Harris, Dinwiddie, Jordan, Prince. if I'm lucky, I can somehow adjust this to get more Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm gonna be so sad when Kyrie and Karis LeVert get back, man.
Yeah, every time I get the update, like Kyrie Irving out another 2 to 3 games, I'm just like, sweet, more Dinwiddie.
I ride hard for Spencer Dinwiddie. I stand by everything I said last year. I'd rather have him than D'Angelo Russell. That's all I got. Utah Jazz, Orlando Magic. This one should be not fun. 106 implied total for the Jazz, 100.5 for the Magic. Mike Conley expected to be back here. I don't anticipate him getting full run. Meanwhile, for the Magic, Vooch is now back, played in their most recent game. Expected to play in both games of this back-to-back. But we'll start on the Jazz side. Good defensive matchup. Both teams solid defensively. Not a lot of ownership coming in here. Gobert slightly into double digits on DK. Donovan Mitchell at 20 on DraftKings is the biggest number. A little bit of love to Conley for 5,500 on FanDuel. I would say that Gobert for 8,600 on FanDuel stands out as the best option for me, followed closely by probably Gobert on DK. I can't imagine I'm getting a lot of Jazz, but are you seeing anything that stands out to you?
Not really. It's a pace down spot for Utah. It's a good Orlando defense. Conley being back obviously takes some minutes and ball handling responsibilities away from guys like Ingles and Moutier. So yeah, there's not a whole lot here that I like.
I don't expect to have much of anything outside of probably Gobert. Do you have any issue with $5,500 Conley on FanDuel? I have him at 28 minutes, but again, I think that he's sort of just missing part of that right tail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. It's just that I don't know how many minutes he does play, and I don't think it's a particularly appealing matchup.
That's fair. On the Orlando side, there's basically one piece and one piece only that I'm looking for. The minutes are going to be the biggest question, but Vooch is 7,900 on FanDuel and 7,300. I gave him 32 minutes. He played 29 in the first game. Doesn't seem like 32 is some sort of ridiculous statement. This is not the second half of the back-to-back. It's the front end. I like Vooch. I don't really want to get anybody else from Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him 30 minutes, and that's still on DraftKings. Made him look like a pretty good option.
Yeah.
Only a 101 team total for Orlando, but Utah has been playing at a reasonable pace. They're 11th in pace over the last month using NBA.com. They also have not been very good defensively. They are 18th in defensive rating over that time. So it's not this. It hasn't been at least the same, slow, great defensive Utah team. And you get a pretty nice price drop on Vooch. So he does look pretty good to me.
Yeah,
he's also not dependent on scoring at the rim, which, obviously people point to Gobert individually, but I'm more concerned about guys who rely on scoring at the rim and guards that attack the basket when we talk about Gobert's defense.
That's something I like to point out mildly regularly, that Rudy Gobert is a net negative for the team as a whole, but rarely as a just straight defensive matchup, unless you are simply just a back-to-the-basket guy, which is not Vooch.
Yeah. And which is the case for most defensive players with the way NBA teams play right now. We obviously talk about that a lot when people are like, oh, well, X is going to guard Y. And it's just like, well, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. This season, obviously, a little bit more limited since he's been hurt for a while, but 23% of Vooch's shot attempts are coming from three. That's 16% last year, 23 the year before that. That's quite a bit. And they're not coming from the corner either. So at the very least, this is going to be either it's bringing Rudy Gobert out or Vooch is getting some sort of better look. That's where we stand.
3 games against Gobert for Vooch going back to the start of the 2017-2018 season. 15 points, 12 rebounds in 32 minutes, 15 points, 19 rebounds in 30 minutes, 20 points, 8 rebounds in 31 minutes. So he's been fine.
Okay. Yeah. Vooch, 38% of his shots at the rim this season, 34% last year. That is basically the 25th to 30th percentile for bigs. So it's just not his style. And he is the only person that I care about for this Magic team. This is not a fun slate. We're already through 5 games, and I don't feel like we've talked about anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind the slate though.
The only interesting thing that we've had to talk about so far is the fact that the Knicks look fantastic.
That's a fair point.
Like, it's not like we rattled off a bunch of dudes we're really excited to roster. We know why
Yeah, I
we're
don't know.
rostering them.
The Pels are fun though.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and Gentry will probably screw it up.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of Melly for some strange reason.
Right.
You know, I think it's a slate that's set up well for us because it's so visually unappealing. And I think we probably have the stomach for more of the grossness than others.
Yep.
Would be great. Anyway, late night hammer, Clippers and Suns. 119.5 implied total for the Clips, 107 for the Suns. It's going to be really hard to talk about this one right now. Lou Will, still questionable. Patrick Beverley, still questionable. JaMychal Green is doubtful. I have the two guards in as of right now. Kawhi and Paul George both in as well. 10-4 for Kawhi on FanDuel, 9,400 on DraftKings. Paul George, 9,600 on FanDuel, 88 on DK. Probably prefer George on DraftKings and Kawhi on FanDuel. I want to get some of these guys for sure, but a lot of it will have to do with whether or not Lou Will in particular is in. If he is in, he is 6,100 on FanDuel, and I will be playing quite a bit of him. Similarly, I am probably going to have some $4,300 Mo Harkless who cost me a decent chunk of change on Friday.
Yeah, I think I actually like Leonard a little bit more than George on DK.
Oh, okay. Talk to me about why.
He's just been a little bit more productive when they're both on the floor. Since George came back, Leonard has played 12 games. George has played 17. Leonard has a 32.2% usage rate compared to George 30.8, and that 30.8 is including the 5 games, obviously, where Kawhi did not play. So I think when in games that they've both played, Kawhi's usage is quite a bit higher. Kawhi, so since the 20th, which is when Kawhi came back from the injury that he was dealing with when George first returned, George has only played 3 games without Kawhi, and the usage difference is about 3%. I think that if you just looked at games Kawhi was in, it would be a little bit wider. So the minute Kawhi doesn't play quite as many minutes as George on average, but I just think that he's more involved in terms of assists and usage.
Works for me. Yeah, I mean, I don't have them all. Like, I have Kawhi 4 points ahead of George, so I could go either.
Yeah, it's not that I dislike George either.
Yeah,
it's just that I think Kawhi's a little bit better.
Would you agree Lou Will for 6,100 on FanDuel looks pretty good if he's in?
Yep.
Okay. Landry Shamet also back. I don't see him as particularly viable. Any thoughts on Mo Harkless on FanDuel at 4,300? Asking for a friend.
I mean, obviously it depends on who's in or out. I'm not super interested if everyone's in.
Not great pricing on DraftKings. These guys are all sort of better on FanDuel, except for maybe Montrez. Ugh. Go Clippers, I guess. On the Phoenix side, still trying to figure out if Devin Booker is going to play from his forearm contusion. I have him in as of right now. And then DeAndre Ayton making his way back today. I've got him in for 26 minutes. I have no idea where to really land there. 7,900 on FanDuel, 7,400 on DraftKings. I don't have much interest. I have Baines getting every other center minute. I think he looks okay for 4,900 on FanDuel. Kelly Oubre for 6,700 on FanDuel is the guy that stands out most to me. What are you thinking for Phoenix? It's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah, I think it's hopefully we get more information on what to expect from Ayton minutes wise. I would assume is in shape and ready to go. So I don't like 26 might be a really low projection.
It might be, but I don't know. Does Aaron Baines make them better?
I mean, they have no reason to play Baines over Ayton.
I don't agree with you.
I'm not saying that Ayton's better than Baines. I'm saying why would they play Baines over Ayton?
It's not that I think they're going to play him over Ayton. I just have it 26-22. It's not like it's 34 and 14 or 30. Yeah, 34 and 14.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably go like 30 and 18.
I think Phoenix is a poorly run franchise that would get a lot of utility out of making a push for the 8 seed. And by doing that, the easiest way to do that is likely playing Aaron Baines, who was better than DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, I guess.
That's my thought. I think they're more likely to lose if DeAndre Ayton is on the floor. And unfortunately, they're too good this season for Robert Sarver to be like, just play the young guy.
Yeah.
Scary. And obviously, I have no idea. DeAndre Ayton can come out here and play 32 minutes, and I wouldn't bat an eye at it. No idea what they're going to do coming off of this. Maybe they're pissed at him. Like, maybe there's some sort of punishment for fucking this up.
Yeah.
Also that. No idea. I don't know what to do there. You want to get to Booker at all if he's in? Doesn't feel like a great spot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a great spot for Booker, especially. I mean, Rubio's in, so you're dealing with the same issues as far as his production. And then Ayton is obviously a higher usage guy than Baines as well. So, Ayton being back, I think, does take appeal away from most of the other Phoenix guys. If Booker's in, obviously, if Booker's out, Ayton being back is still like a net. But Booker out and Ayton in is still a net positive for usage for guys like Rubio and Oubre.
Yeah. Even Baines had increased usage this season, but still just like average usage at best.
In his one game.
Did Josh just say Baines is better than Ayton without saying he's joking? I don't even think it's up for debate. DeAndre Ayton is a second-year center. I'm not trying to say that DeAndre Ayton can't be better than Aaron Baines in 6 years, but yeah, this is. I don't even think it's close. Aaron Baines is actually good defensively. DeAndre Ayton is one of the worst defensive centers in basketball, and Aaron Baines was scoring at an 85th percentile rate for big men this season. He's been a dream for them. You can't take someone's projection of when they're 28 years old and apply it to now. It's not close. Aaron Baines makes them more likely to win a basketball game. I'd rather have DeAndre Ayton in 2024. Come on, guys. Use your heads. All right. I think we need to sum this up. It's a tricky slate for right now, which I'm very happy about instead of just jamming in 5 straight $3,300 guys. So
if Booker's out, Bridges is a good value again.
Absolutely. Give me your best plays for DraftKings.
Barrett, Dinwiddie, Ingram, Holiday, Lonzo, Trey.
So on FanDuel, give me Elfrid Payton and Spencer Dinwiddie at point guard. Give me RJ Barrett and flip a coin between Josh Hart and Garrett Temple. At small forward, it's going to be Marcus Morris, Mo Harkless, and Kelly Oubre. At power forward, give me Jarrett Allen, Jabari Parker, AD if he is in. And then at center, it's going to be Vooch, Jackson Hayes.
I forgot Julius Randle too. He's definitely up there for me.
Oh boy.
I think this slate's kind of fun.
I love it because I know how it plays. I don't know how it plays out, but I know how this blueprint plays out, and I'm okay with that. I greatly prefer days like this than days where you just jam in Markieff Morris, Christian Wood, value guys across the board. So there's that. It's unappealing visually.
Yeah, like writing the deep dive article, there's going to be guys that I have to write about or start to write about, and I'm just like, I don't have anything interesting to say. But just from making DFS lineups, I enjoy slates like this.
So do I. I'm excited for it. Once we lock, I have to head to the bar. The wife is going to Elf Trivia, so I'm gonna need to skedaddle after that. But you guys will be in good hands with Lofty and Adam tonight on the deeper dive, and then Fast Eddie Fear and Chris Randone for live before lock. But that's all we got now. Tune in immediately after this, and by immediately I mean 28 minutes from now, because Adam and I flew through this 6-gamer. That's why I'm dubious of this slate. We cruised through this, and I don't think we missed anything.
Right.
there's just that little to talk about. Stay tuned for everything we've got coming up later today, and then stay tuned for Ben Rasa and Sal Vetri for NFL talk coming up at 11. Adam, anything else?
I'll have the deep dive article out sometime early this afternoon, and then I'll be back with Lofty, as you said.
There we go, guys. Thank you very much. Please hit that like button on your way out the door, and best of luck tonight. Talk to you later.